Welcome back. Time to take it all to the roundtable. We have a supersized one today. Some introductions first. Justin Sayfie is an attorney with Ballard Partners in Washington, D.C. and publisher of the Sayfie Review, a daily roundup of political news from around Florida. Marlon Hill is an attorney with the Hamilton, Miller & Berthasell firm and a past president of the Caribbean Bar Association. Ed Pozzuoli is president of the Tripp Scott Law Firm in Fort Lauderdale and an influential voice in the Republican Party. Andrea Robinson is a reporter for the Miami Times and a veteran South Florida journalist. Supersized minds today. So, Justin, I want to welcome back.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
It's good to see you. I want to start out with you. Yes. Tomorrow, we have Governor Rick Scott told us, please be at our announcement Monday. It's going to be fun. That's what he said. Is there any other announcement he could possibly be making than he is getting into the race for senator?
No, I think it's the worst kept secret in Florida politics. You haven't seen any of the Republicans express interest in taking on incumbent Democratic Senator Bill Nelson. So I think it's fair to assume that Governor Rick Scott's going to announce that he's going to be seeking the United States Senate seat and going to be taking on Bill Nelson, who was elected first in 2000. He's been there for 18 years. So it's going to be really a battle of two political titans in the state of Florida.
Yeah, not only titans, but Senator Bill Nelson, I think from a newsroom perspective, and you might have seen this too, we've seen more press releases and emails from the senator's office than I
in the past
remember.
3 or 4 years. It has been nonstop churning out information about the most minute things. You get the sense Senator Nelson wants us to know he's there. He has his people more out in the community at events. He's all over the place. So
it's just happening now.
I would say in the last 6 months?
Yeah, in the last 6 months, maybe a year.
No, last 6 months. I want to make sure we're clear.
No, but he has sent out more information. I mean, you have the governor who sends out things several times
because he's
every day.
He's actually doing stuff.
Well, no, but also Senator Nelson is doing things. I mean,
especially in the last 6 months, right?
I will say,
you know what?
There are action and there are optics, and we all know that there are press releases and Marlon.
But like Justin said, election cycles are all about getting folks tuned in, and things are going to heat up probably right after Memorial Day, right? Justin is right. This is going to be a race that's really going to increase the stakes for the elections in November. Yeah. It's going to get the voters statewide more interested and turned up. Right? So it's good. Right? But Senator Nelson is going up against a two-term governor who has been trying to make all the moves, including after the recent Parkland shooting. So it's going to be interesting to see both of those personalities come into play.
But I think in this election you have an electorate that I think will be energized because of, Parkland for one thing, and some other things. So both of these men have to get out, hit the ground running. This is the marquee matchup.
Actually, nationwide. Probably nationwide.
It could very well be, but I think it's unfortunately it's dominating the gubernatorial race.
Well, let's talk about that.
I mean, people aren't engaged in this.
Well, let's engage them right now.
I don't think it will dominate. I don't think it will dominate the governor's race. Actually, I think it will complement it. Actually.
Really?
Yeah, because it's Governor Scott, and who's inheriting the history of the work of Governor Scott,
so
and which candidates on the Republican primary side will benefit from that.
Well, here we go. Adam Putnam was here, talked to us. We had a wide-ranging conversation. Gun law, though, is something that is so polarizing. And Justin, do you think that the gun issue will sustain at this rate long enough to be the real marquee issue in this race?
It's really interesting because when you ask me that question, I think about the diversity of our state. We have a very diverse state. The people in North Florida and the Panhandle and Central Florida feel differently about the gun issue than the people here in Miami-Dade and Broward counties. So I think to some extent the gun issue will sustain. It will be asked. It will be asked in the debates. You'll see probably some television advertising on it. We know that Miami Beach Mayor Phil Levine has put that front and center of his gubernatorial campaign. So I think it's going to be a conversation that we're going to have in the debate. But I think that it's not simple to say who's going to benefit from that issue because we have such a diverse
Well, one of the
state.
things, Justin, though, that the gun issue may be polarizing for some, but maybe galvanizing for others.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
exactly.
Well, look up on your screen right there. Here are the 4 people who are running as Democrats in the Democratic primary. They are all very simpatico on the gun issue, all of them. And if we put up the next graphic, and I know we'll have 3 people on this graphic running in the GOP primary, and one of them, oh, I was wrong. There's only 2. There's Congressman Ron DeSantis, and you've met Adam Putnam today. They are probably going to also be facing Richard Corcoran and House Speaker, there he is. And all of them have sort of taken a very tough, loud stance for gun rights, what they call gun rights.
Except,
You mean the Second
but I
Amendment,
think
the U.S. Constitution?
Well, the Second Amendment is something we talk about all the time. I don't think anybody's against the Second Amendment. And I think it's unfair to say that Democrats want to take
don't
your
even
guns
start
away.
that.
Well,
But what I'm
start
talking
it.
about is the division is very real and stark
It
in a
is very
state where races are won by less than 1% of the vote.
it is very real, and this the Parkland tragedy exposed the difference of opinion and the strong passions on both sides, and you're going to see that, I think, impact a little bit of this election. But like I agree with Justin and Marlon that you really don't know who it's going to benefit. Yeah, I also think there's some other issues that'll come into play, and not that this will fade, because I think this is an indelible mark on this race, particularly in our community. I mean, think about it. Parkland tragedy was an indelible mark on this community, but there are going to be other issues that are going to define some of these candidates. I mean, it depends on, remember, they still have to get through their primaries.
Such as education,
I mean,
immigration.
you have education, you have immigration, you have Donald Trump. I mean, right now, the political world is being dominated by Donald Trump. He sucks all the oxygen out of the room. Regardless of anything, he is going to create issues, whether they're real or not, that these candidates are going to have to deal with.
But that's going to be
even with President Trump, right, out the air out of the room. Elections are still about moods, right? And the mood that's going to happen over the summer with regard to how the voters feel, not only about President Trump, but how do they feel about elected officials moving into this turnover. We're going into a succession plan, statewide, senator, governor, and locally. And the electorate is in a moody place right now.
I think, though, to follow up on what Marlon is saying, is that the electorate, people are very fed up and with inattention from their elected officials, and that's across the board at the federal, state, and local level. Right. And I was interviewing someone for an article that I'm working on right now, and he said that after the Parkland, the protest, the March for Our Lives, that galvanized people, and he said, look, we're fed up. People are not paying attention to us, and we are coming after them. A local, and he was talking about a local election, but people need to get in their heads that we're coming after you. If you're not paying attention to what we want, you have to pay. There are going to be consequences.
Well, local and the gun issue has become a national debate. Now hold it right there. We're going to talk more about that and the town halls that have been happening this week about just that when we come back.